How can there be parts of us that feel like they have dark thoughts, that may feel suicidal and feel like they want to self-harm, alongside parts of us that feel like they want to live and that they function just fine? Today, I'm going to help you understand how these two things, these two different thoughts, these polarized thoughts can exist at the same time. First, I'm going to use this stone, and it represents the functioning part of ourselves. So this is theory by Janina Fisher, where she talks about parts of self. So this is our functioning part of self. This is us in our everyday lives. It's the part of us that goes to work. It can be very successful at what we do. It's the part that everyone around us sees. It's the part of us that is on display. We might be going around in our everyday lives and something may happen. We may see something, we may hear something that triggers us. We might not always know that that is happening. It can happen consciously, but it can also happen subconsciously. When that happens, what it triggers is this part here. So it's represented by a shell. You can see that it's got a hole. It looks more fragile because it is the more fragile part of us. These are usually younger parts of self. They hold a lot of emotion. They usually hold a lot of pain. So when we are triggered, these parts which sit in the background here, they get triggered and they may come a bit more forward. When this happens, we have different responses. So this oyster shell here, this represents a fight response. So the function of this fight response is to protect us. It's a very primal instinct designed to protect our brain, to protect our body, and in this case, it wants to protect us from this pain. So it sits on top of it here to do exactly that, to protect us from this pain. But sometimes this response can come with the feeling of wanting to self-harm, to have dark thoughts, to feel suicidal, which is part of the fight response to protect us from these very painful emotional parts of self. So they can come forward and exist alongside these functioning parts of self. So these can come and go, and when triggered, it might feel very, very strong and come more forward than the functioning part of self. And this is what good therapy takes into account, is these different parts of self and how to work with these different parts and how to integrate them as a whole. And that is how different parts of us can coexist at the same time.